Today we uncover the shocking truth about UK bacon. That bacon sizzling in your Sunday fry-up isn't what you think it is. 87% pork. That's what you'll find on most supermarket bacon labels. The other 13%? Water, chemicals, and additives sold to you at bacon prices. When you see white liquid flooding your pan, that's not meat juice. That's the water they injected and you paid for. Major UK retailers are pumping pork bellies with brine solutions containing sodium nitrite, potassium nitrate, and phosphate stabilizers. These phosphates exist for one reason: to stop that injected water from leaking back out before you hand over your money at the till. The World Health Organization classified processed meat cured with nitrites as a Group 1 carcinogen, the same category as tobacco and asbestos. Middle-cut bacon contains 3 times more cancer-causing nitrites than back bacon, 26 milligrams per kilogram compared to just under 9. Eating just 2 rashers of nitrite-cured bacon daily increases your bowel cancer risk by 18%. Traditional British bacon was pork belly or back meat, dry-cured with salt, sometimes smoked over wood, sliced fresh. The entire process took weeks. Today's industrial wet curing takes days. Premium brands charging double the price still contain 11% water. Outdoor bred labels suggesting ethical farming often mean pigs spent just a few weeks outside before months in industrial sheds. One major retailer created fake farm brand names that don't exist, using British-sounding names to sell imported meat mixed with UK pork under identical packaging. A real farmer with the actual farm name threatened them with legal action. Another brand markets bacon that hasn't been made in its country of origin since 2005, now produced in Poland and Germany, while still charging premium prices for geographic nostalgia. The worst offender contains 13 ingredients, including glucose syrup, dextrose, and maple syrup in what should be cured pork. So we've gone through the major brands currently sold in UK supermarkets, and we'll expose the 8 bacon products you need to avoid. Then I'll tell you the 4 which are actually still worth buying. But before we get into that, if this kind of investigation matters to you, hit the like button and especially hit that hype button right now. Every hype helps push this video to more people who need to see what's really in their shopping baskets. The supermarkets bank on you not reading labels, not questioning why bacon needs 13 ingredients, not understanding what outdoor bred actually means legally versus what it suggests emotionally. When enough people know the truth, when enough people stop accepting water-injected pork from intensive farming as normal, these companies will have to change. Your hype genuinely helps spread this information to families who deserve to know what they're feeding their kids. So hit that hype button, leave a comment telling us what shocked you most, and let's get into it. Number 8. Co-op British back bacon. Co-op positions itself as the ethical supermarket, worker-owned cooperative, fair trade champion, community-focused retailer. Their bacon tells a different story. Pick up a pack of Co-op British back bacon and check the label. 9% added water. Right there on the packaging. At least they're honest about it, which is more than most brands manage. But 9% water is still 9% water. You're paying bacon prices for nearly 1/10 tap water. The ingredients list continues with pork, salt, sodium nitrite, and potassium nitrate. That's 2 different nitrite compounds working together. Sodium nitrite provides immediate preservation and that pink color consumers expect. Potassium nitrate, also known as saltpeter, slowly converts to nitrite during curing for longer-term effects. Both contribute to nitrosamine formation when you cook the bacon at high temperatures. The salt content hits between 2.49 and 2.81 grams per 100 grams. That's significantly higher than dry-cured premium bacon. High sodium levels mask the fact that you're eating diluted pork. The salt has to work overtime because there's water where concentrated meat flavor should be. When you fry this bacon, watch what happens. White liquid appears almost immediately. That's the 9% they admitted to, plus whatever additional moisture the wet curing process introduced. The rashers shrink noticeably. What looked like a decent portion in the packet becomes half that size in your pan. Co-op and British both sound reassuring. Cooperative ownership suggests ethical practices. British suggests supporting local farmers. But the product itself is standard industrial wet-cured bacon with admitted water injection and dual nitrite preservation. The honest labeling almost makes it worse. They're telling you exactly what you're buying, and most people still don't notice. Number 7. M&S British Outdoor Bred Smoked Back Bacon. Marks & Spencer charges premium prices. Their food hall cultivates an image of quality, careful sourcing and higher standards. Their outdoor bred bacon costs around £3.50 for a pack. That's significantly more than budget supermarket bacon. You're paying for better welfare, better quality, better everything. Except you're not. Check the ingredients. 86% pork, 11% water. That's right, you're paying M&S premium prices for 11% water. The outdoor bred label does the heavy lifting here. It sounds ethical, humane, and traditional. Images of pigs rooting around in fields come to mind. The legal reality is different. Outdoor bred means pigs were born outdoors and spent their early weeks outside. Then they were moved to intensive indoor housing for the majority of their lives. Before slaughter, they're not free-range, they're not outdoor-reared. The outdoor breeding period that qualifies M&S to use this premium label represents a tiny fraction of these animals' existence. Multiple investigations have documented what happens after that brief outdoor period. Overcrowded indoor pens, slatted concrete floors, poor air quality. The marketing shows pastoral imagery of happy pigs in fields and sunshine. The reality for most of these pigs is months in industrial sheds. The ingredients list includes pork, salt, sugar, sodium nitrite, and sodium ascorbate as an antioxidant. Sugar has no preservative function. It's there to balance the saltiness and enhance browning through caramelization when you cook it. Traditional bacon didn't need added sugar. This is another ingredient manipulating flavor rather than genuinely improving quality. You're paying roughly 40% more than standard supermarket bacon. That premium isn't going toward better welfare despite what the outdoor bred label implies. It's going toward M&S profit margins and marketing budgets that convince you this is something special. When you cook it, the 11% water behaves exactly like the 9% in cheaper brands. It floods your pan. The bacon shrinks. You're left with less actual meat than the raw weight suggested. Premium branding can't change physics. Water is water regardless of how much you paid for it. Number 6. Richmond Smoked Back Bacon. Richmond built its reputation on sausages. Their sausages contain 42% meat, the rest is water, rusk, and other fillers. Now they're selling bacon. The full product name reveals everything. Rindless back bacon with added water. That qualifier is tucked into the fine print. But it's there. Richmond is owned by Pilgrim's Food Masters, a subsidiary of Pilgrim's Pride Corporation, one of the world's largest chicken producers based in the United States. This is not a British company despite the Union Jack imagery on the packaging. The bacon follows the same philosophy as their sausages. Maximize water content. Minimize actual meat. Sell it cheap enough that people overlook quality. The ingredients list reads like every other wet-cured industrial bacon. Pork, water, salt, sodium nitrite, potassium nitrate, sodium ascorbate. Nothing unusual. Nothing particularly bad compared to others. The problem is Richmond's track record. When a company puts 42% meat in sausages and sells the rest as filler, that tells you their entire approach to meat products. Quality isn't the priority. Hitting a price point is. Their bacon reflects this. It's engineered to look acceptable in the packet and hit a target retail price. What happens in your pan? Customer reviews consistently mention excessive shrinkage, uneven thickness, and fatty pieces. Quality control appears minimal. One pack might be serviceable. The next might be unusable. That inconsistency is the cost of budget production. You're buying from a company that views 42% meat content as acceptable for sausages. Their standards for bacon aren't going to be higher. The added water disclosure is almost refreshingly honest. At least they're not pretending this is premium product. It's cheap bacon from a company known for filling sausages with water and rusk. Expect accordingly. Number 5. Sainsbury's Stamford Street Co. Back bacon. Sainsbury's used to sell budget bacon under an honest label. Basics: plain orange and white packaging, no pretense about what you were buying. Cheap bacon at cheap prices. In 2016, they phased out basics. They replaced it with tertiary brands using names like Stamford Street Food Company. The name sounds artisan, like a small producer, a local company making quality products with care. It's neither. Stamford Street was Sainsbury's former head office location in London. The company borrowed their old address to create a fake brand name that sounds trustworthy and traditional. Behind the bucolic branding sits the same industrial wet-cured bacon formula. 87% pork, water, sodium ascorbate, sodium nitrite, and potassium nitrate. Standard ingredients, standard process. Nothing special despite the artisanal name. This is psychological manipulation at scale. Sainsbury's knows people respond to brand names that sound small-scale and authentic. Basics sounded cheap because it was cheap. Stamford Street Food Company sounds like it could be a real producer with real standards. It isn't. It's Sainsbury's own industrial bacon with marketing costume. The price sometimes runs nearly twice what equivalent budget bacon costs at Asda or Tesco. You're paying extra for a fake brand name. The bacon itself is identical to what you'd get in any budget wet-cured product. High water content, nitrite preservation, lots of shrinkage in the pan. Other Sainsbury's tertiary brands include Hubbard's Food Store, named after Old Mother Hubbard's cupboard, and the greengrocer for frozen produce. All fake, all designed to create associations with small-scale traditional production that doesn't exist. Whether it's Stamford Street or any other tertiary brand, you're buying supermarket industrial bacon dressed up in countryside marketing. The extra cost buys you nothing except a label designed to make you feel better about a purchase you shouldn't be making. Number 4. Asda Just Essentials Back Bacon. Just Essentials replaced Asda's Smart Price range. The name change happened when budget ranges started carrying social stigma. Nobody wanted to be seen buying Smart Price. Too obviously cheap. Just Essentials sounds more dignified, like you're buying the basics you actually need rather than the cheapest option available. Look at what Just Essentials actually means for this bacon. 87 to 88% pork, water, sodium nitrite, potassium nitrate, sodium ascorbate. The smoked version also includes brown sugar. Traditional essential bacon was essential because it was simple: pork belly cured with salt. That's it. 2 ingredients: salt preserved the meat, thyme developed the flavor. No water injection needed. No chemical stabilizers, no nitrite preservation compounds. Modern Just Essentials bacon is essential in a different way. Essentially cheap, essentially industrial. Essentially the minimum viable bacon product they can sell. The ingredients are essentially identical to bacon costing twice as much. Just Essentials hasn't redefined quality. They've redefined what essential means. Essential used to mean fundamental, necessary, the pure form of something. Now it means the cheapest version we can produce while still legally calling it bacon. Asda has taken a word with positive connotations and attached it to bottom-tier wet-cured pork. When you cook Just Essentials bacon, it behaves exactly like you'd expect from 87% pork content. Significant shrinkage, white liquid flooding the pan. What looked like enough bacon for 2 people becomes barely enough for 1. The irony is sharp. Budget bacon costs less up front but delivers less edible meat after cooking. You throw away half as water and rendered fat. Premium dry-cured bacon costs more initially, but you eat every rasher. The price per actual edible portion often makes cheap bacon more expensive. Just Essentials exemplifies everything wrong with industrial bacon. Maximum water, minimum quality, marketed with language suggesting it's the smart, sensible choice when it's neither. Number 3. Tesco Standard Back Bacon. Tesco is Britain's largest supermarket. 28% market share. More people buy bacon from Tesco than anywhere else. Most of them are buying this. Standard Back Bacon. The ingredients tell you everything. 87% pork, water, salt, sodium nitrite, potassium nitrate. 13% of what you're paying for isn't bacon, it's water held in place by chemistry. When Tesco got caught up in the horse meat scandal in 2013, they promised transparency and trust. Better sourcing, clear labeling, high standards. Then in 2016, they replaced Tesco value with 7 tertiary brands using fake farm names. Woodside Farms for pork, Boswell Farms for beef, Willow Farms for chicken. British-sounding farm names suggesting small-scale production and traceable provenance. None of them were real. Woodside Farms became particularly controversial. A real farmer named Richard Bohr raises free-range pigs at an actual farm called Woodside Farm in Nottinghamshire. He sells high-quality pork through his own shop and website under his farm name. When Tesco launched their Woodside Farms brand in 2016, his customers started asking if he supplied them. He doesn't. His pork is free-range and higher welfare than what Tesco sells, but the name confusion damaged his business and reputation. The charity Feedback joined with Richard Bohr to threaten legal action against Tesco. They pointed out that Tesco was profiting from associations with his real farm's name and reputation. Tesco's Woodside Farms bacon contains meat from UK and other EU countries sold under identical packaging. You could pick up 2 packs from the same shelf. One contains British pork, one contains Danish or Dutch pork. The packaging looks the same. The fake farm name is the same, only small country of origin text differentiates them. This is deliberate deception. Tesco learned nothing from horse meat. They promised to rebuild trust and immediately launched brands designed to mislead customers about provenance. Their standard bacon epitomizes this approach. It's engineered for profit, not quality. Water injection increases weight, nitrite preservation extends shelf life, wet curing reduces production time from weeks to days. Every choice prioritizes margin over meat. When you fry Tesco standard back bacon, watch the pan. White liquid appears within seconds. That's the water they sold you. The rashers shrink dramatically. What looks substantial in the packet becomes half that size cooked. This is the bacon most British families are eating. Market leader by volume. Standard by name, substandard by composition. Number 2, Danish bacon. Danish bacon enjoys premium reputation in the UK. Trusted, traditional, quality. The Danish bacon brand first appeared in the UK in 1902 when Danish cooperatives set up the Danish Bacon Agency in London. From 1908, Danish law required all meat exports to be slaughtered in public slaughterhouses. Bacon was inspected and stamped to indicate disease-free status. After 1908, it was declared free of all preservatives, apart from salt and smoking. That was then, this is now. Danish bacon production moved to Poland and Germany in 2004 and 2005. Costs are lower there, labour is cheaper, regulations are different. The bacon is no longer made in Denmark, but it's still marketed as Danish, still carries that geographic stamp, still trades on reputation built over a century when production actually happened there. UK retailers allowed this. They could have required honest labelling. Geographic indicators like champagne or parmesan have legal protection. You can't call sparkling wine champagne unless it's from Champagne, France, but bacon made in Poland can still be called Danish as long as it came from Danish pigs. The pigs are raised in Denmark on massive industrial farms run by Danish Crown, one of Europe's largest pork producers. Then they're shipped to Poland or Germany for slaughter and curing. The final product gets stamped Danish and exported to the UK at premium prices. Danish Crown processes over 18 million pigs annually. At that scale, individual animal welfare becomes irrelevant. They're units of production managed for maximum efficiency. The company has faced repeated criticism for welfare standards. Investigations documented overcrowded facilities, high piglet mortality, and routine tail docking without pain relief. The bacon you're buying contains all the same additives as any other industrial wet-cured product: sodium nitrite, potassium nitrate, phosphates to retain injected water. The only difference is geographic nostalgia you're paying extra for. Traditional Danish bacon was dry-cured with just salt and smoke. Modern Danish bacon is wet-cured with chemical preservation exactly like every other supermarket brand. The Danish stamp is marketing. The premium price is unjustified. You're paying for a geographic reputation that no longer matches reality. The UK allowed this deception to continue. No requirement for made in to appear alongside product of. No protection for consumers who see Danish and assume quality traditional production methods. Just another example of how supermarket bacon has become a performance of what it used to be rather than the genuine article. Number 1. Morrison Savers Smoked Back Bacon. This is it. The worst bacon brand available in UK supermarkets. The ingredient list alone should disqualify it from being called bacon. 87% pork. That's where it starts. Then comes the chemistry set. Water, sugar, dextrose, glucose syrup, stabilizers E450 and E451, antioxidants, emulsifier, sodium nitrite, maple syrup. Count them. 13 plus ingredients in what should be cured pork. Traditional bacon requires 2 ingredients. Pork and salt. Thyme and smoke do the rest. Morrison Savers requires 13 because every shortcut needs a chemical crutch. The sugar, dextrose, and glucose syrup serve multiple functions. They balance the aggressive saltiness from wet curing. They enhance browning through caramelization. They mask the fact that you're eating heavily processed industrial pork. Stabilizers E450 and E451 are diphosphates. These phosphate compounds exist for one reason. They prevent the injected water from leaking back out. Without phosphates, the water would separate, the bacon would weep. Customers would see what they're actually buying. Phosphates chemically bind water to protein, creating the illusion of moist meat when it's actually diluted pork held together by chemistry. The antioxidants prevent fat from going rancid. The emulsifier helps water and fat blend smoothly. Every ingredient addresses a problem created by industrial production. Water injection requires phosphates. Extended shelf life requires antioxidants. Inconsistent pieces require emulsifiers to create uniform texture. This isn't bacon, it's a reconstructed meat product engineered to look like bacon while maximizing profit per pig. Maple syrup appears in smoked bacon to create a sweet, savory profile that appeals to modern palates accustomed to added sugar in everything. Bacon doesn't need maple syrup. But Morrison Savers bacon needs something to make you overlook the fact that it's 13 ingredients away from being actual bacon. When you cook this, the performance falls apart immediately. Excessive liquid floods the pan. The bacon shrinks dramatically. Thin pieces burn, while thicker sections stay undercooked because the thickness varies wildly. What you're left with is barely recognizable as the product you bought. Morrison Savers is bottom-tier budget bacon taken to its logical extreme. Every cost-cutting measure, every chemical shortcut, every compromise on quality. All in one packet. This represents industrial food production at its worst, not food. Food-adjacent product engineered to hit a price point regardless of what that requires. This is what you're eating if you buy the cheapest bacon available. 13 ingredients. 87% pork. 12 months of a pig's life reduced to chemistry and water sold by weight. So, how do you find the good stuff? Try not to buy the cheapest option available, because cheap bacon is expensive when you calculate cost after half turns to grease in the pan. Water injection is essentially like a hidden tax on the cheap bacon products. Look for dry-cured rather than wet-cured. Dry-cured bacon is rubbed with salt and left to cure over weeks. No water injection. No phosphate stabilizers. The meat loses moisture naturally and concentrates flavor. Check the percentage. Anything below 90% pork means you're buying water. Above 95% is ideal. Look for minimal ingredients. Pork, salt, maybe sugar for sweet cure varieties, and unfortunately some form of nitrite preservation in most commercial products. Avoid anything with stabilizers, dextrose, glucose syrup, or emulsifiers. Consider nitrite-free options if cancer prevention is your priority, but understand even these may still contain added water. The best option if you have access is a proper butcher who can tell you which farm the pork came from and how those pigs were raised. Butchers who dry cure their own bacon using traditional methods. But most people don't have access to artisan butchers or can't afford their prices. So here's your supermarket survival guide. 4 products that actually deliver what they promise. First, Finnebrog Naked Bacon. This is the UK's only truly nitrite-free bacon available in supermarkets. Not the celery powder trick, not no added nitrites with a qualifier, actually zero nitrites. Finnebrog worked with Spanish food scientists to develop a curing process using Mediterranean fruit and spice extracts instead of nitrites. It took years of development and £14 million of investment. The technology maintains the pink colour, adds flavour, and matches the shelf life of traditionally produced bacon without any nitrites. This matters because sodium nitrite converts to nitrosamines during high-temperature cooking. Nitrosamines are probable carcinogens. The World Health Organization explicitly linked processed meats containing nitrites to increased cancer risk. Finnebrog Naked eliminates that entirely. It's available at Waitrose, Sainsbury's, and Morrison's under the Finnebrog brand. M&S sells it under their own label as made without nitrites. In blind taste tests, it beat traditional nitrite-cured bacon. The smoke profile is balanced. The meat tastes like pork rather than chemicals. If you've been buying Helen Browning's organic thinking it's nitrite-free, it isn't. Helen Browning's uses 80% less nitrites than commercial bacon, which is better, but it's not zero. For genuinely nitrite-free bacon from a supermarket, Finnebrog is your only option. The trade-off is availability and sometimes price, but if cancer prevention is your priority, this is worth finding. Second, Tesco Finest Dry Cure Back Bacon. Yes, Tesco appears on both the avoid and recommended lists. Their standard bacon is terrible. Their Finest Dry Cure is genuinely good. This demonstrates that supermarkets can produce quality bacon when they choose to. They just reserve it for premium ranges. The ingredients are pork, salt, sugar, and preservatives including sodium nitrite. It's still processed meat, still contains nitrites. Not a health food, but crucially, no added water. The label doesn't say 87% pork. It's proper dry-cured bacon using traditional methods. When you cook Tesco Finest Dry Cure, it behaves completely differently from their standard range. No white liquid flooding the pan, minimal shrinkage. The rashers stay roughly the size they were raw. You're eating actual meat, not boiled off water. The texture is denser. The flavour is more concentrated. This is what bacon is supposed to taste and cook like. The price is around £4.50, roughly double their standard bacon. But you eat every slice. The price per edible rasher makes it cheaper than budget bacon, where half turns to grease. If you're shopping at Tesco, buy Finest Dry Cure. Don't even look at the standard range. This proves Tesco knows how to make real bacon. They just choose to sell water-injected pork to most customers because it's more profitable. Third, Sainsbury's Taste the Difference air-dried dry-cured back bacon. Sainsbury's premium range delivers traditional bacon made properly. British pork, sea salt, dry-cured using methods that take time rather than chemicals, air-dried naturally rather than artificially accelerated. The ingredients list is short: pork, sea salt, sugar, and preservatives. No water injection, no stabilizers, no glucose syrup or dextrose. This is bacon made the way it was before industrial wet curing took over. The texture reflects traditional production. Firmer, less watery, the fat renders cleanly rather than producing greasy pools. The meat has actual pork flavor instead of being dominated by salt and smoke additives. Pricing runs around £5.50, positioning it as mid-tier premium. More expensive than Tesco Finest, but less than top-end organic options. For that price, you get bacon that doesn't shrink into nothing, doesn't flood your pan, and actually tastes like the pork it came from. Sainsbury's shows the same pattern as Tesco. They can make good bacon when they want to. They just hide it in premium ranges while selling industrial garbage under fake farm names to budget shoppers. But if you're shopping at Sainsbury's and can afford the premium range, this is worth buying. It's proof that supermarket bacon doesn't have to be terrible, they just choose to make it terrible for most people. Fourth, Waitrose Dutchie Organic Dry Cured Back Bacon. This is the highest quality bacon we found in supermarkets. 97% pork loin, that's the highest meat content on this entire list. It's organic, meaning the pigs were raised to higher welfare standards with organic feed and restricted antibiotic use. It's dry-cured, using traditional methods. The ingredients are pork loin, sea salt, sugar, sodium ascorbate, and sodium nitrite. It still contains nitrites. Still processed meat, the organic certification and dry curing don't change that. But 97% pork content means you're getting actual meat, not water pretending to be meat. The price reflects the quality. Around £6.50 for a pack that's roughly 2.6 times the cost of budget bacon. For some people, that's not feasible. But if you can afford it, this is what premium bacon should look like. High meat content, traditional curing methods, organic welfare standards. When you cook Dutchy organic, there's almost no shrinkage, no white liquid, the bacon stays flat, the fat crisps properly. You're eating what you paid for, rather than watching it evaporate. This is the bacon equivalent of what Danish bacon used to be before production moved to Poland, what Tesco Finest claims to be, what M and Soutdoor Bred pretends to be. Actual quality that justifies premium pricing. Waitrose positions itself as the premium supermarket. Unlike Tesco and Sainsbury's, their baseline is already higher. But Dutchy Organic sits at the top of their range for good reason. It's not perfect. Nitrites remain problematic. Organic certification doesn't eliminate cancer risk, but it's as close as you'll get to traditional bacon in a modern supermarket, without paying artisan butcher prices. Before you go, hit that like button one more time and smash the hype button if this opened your eyes to what's really in supermarket bacon. Leave a comment telling us which food we should investigate next. Every comment helps the algorithm show this to more people who deserve to know what they're actually buying. Subscribe because we're doing this for every processed food filling British shopping baskets. Until next time, check your labels, question your bacon, and protect your plate.